Hey everyone, I hope you're all doing alright. In this set of videos, I'll be going over Assignment 11. Now, Assignment 11 should have been a fairly simple introduction to objects and classes, and there's actually not a whole lot of code that you have to write to get it done. So, if we look at the assignment, we have to implement a class called student, which represents a student. And then we're given this tester program right here that's supposed to run without errors. So, actually, let's look at this. So this tester class, all it does is creates two new students, sets the name, ID, midterm, and final exam grades, and then prints out some of that stuff afterward. So for part A, and this is what the output's supposed to look like. So for part A, we have to write the student class that works with the tester program above and produces this correct output. So first thing is to take this and then paste it into a file called student test1, and this is just copy pasted right here. So we see we have to be able to create a student, have these methods set name, set ID, set midterm, set final, and then get name, get ID, and then get course grade. So we have to create a class called student that implements all that functionality. So this class student in a file called student.java will represent our student objects. And if we look here, these are the setters and here are some getter methods, and then so our student has to store the attributes name, ID, midterm, and final exam. You don't have to store this course grade because course grade can be calculated on the fly later on. So we need to be able to store those attributes first. So these are the member variables. They're always private. Let's start with name, ID, and then we have midterm and final exam. Okay, so name is going to be a string. ID is going to be an integer. Now midterm and final exam, you need to be a little careful because these examples give integers, but really these can be doubles because your course grade can be a decimal because it's an average of the midterm and final. So these should actually be doubles and not integers. Okay, so these are our member variables to represent the attributes of a student. And now we need to start implementing these methods, the getters and the setters. So we need set name. Let's do the getters first. Okay, so we need a get name, get ID, and get course grade. So the getter always returns the type you're asking for, so we'll write name first. So this is a string. It always starts with get and then the variable name. It takes no arguments. And then all it does is it returns the name of the instance. And then the exact same thing for ID. The ID is an int, so we return an int. We return ID here. Okay, and then we need this get course grade. We don't actually need a get midterm and get final exam for this example. So public. The course grade is a double, so this will return a double. And the course grade is just the average of the midterm and the final exam. So we can just do this. Or I think in the example it's given as 0.5 times the midterm plus 0.5 times the final, but this is the exact same thing. Okay. And then so we can actually go ahead and test the getters without the setters first. And we'll see how this works. So we compile everything. And then we run the student test. Okay. So we have a bunch of nulls and zeros. And that's because in our student class we don't instantiate these to anything at the moment. But everything compiles and works fine. So now what we can do is uncomment these and actually write out these methods. So we need setters for the name, ID, midterm, and final exam. Public. Setters always return void. They always start with set, and then the name of the variable that you're going to set. So it takes a new name. And so there's a couple ways you can do this. Because my argument is name, and my member variable is also name, if I do name equals name, my program's not going to know which name I'm referring to. So you can use something called the this pointer. So when you say this dot name with this dot notation, it refers to the member variable name. So you can do this. You can also change this to something like new name, and then you can just say name equals new name, because now there's no name conflict over here with this. But I'll just change it back because this is the convention. So then we can do the same thing for everything else. So set ID, dot ID, ID, and then midterm and final exam. So midterm, let's double. And then same thing for the final exam. What is it called here? Set final exam. Okay, so it looks like I think I implemented everything here. So we can compile again and run everything, and now everything is working correctly. I tested my getters first because those are easy to implement, and then we go ahead and implemented the setters. And then let me just double check to make sure I got the right output over here. So 1 2 3 4 5, Alice 1 2 3 4 5 75, Alice 1 2 3 4 5 75, and then Bob 5 4 3 2 1 and 91. 5 4 3 2 1 91. Yep. So that's it for part A.